Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and I am looking forward to a much more approachable puzzle for this evening's post. It's been a couple of tough puzzles, I'm going to say, this weekend. Although looking at the solve times from you guys, you've absolutely smashed it. So I think I was the one that's struggling. So really, it's more of a break for me than it is for you. And I'm looking forward to this. Now, we kind of got back on track with featuring EquaLite Cages and gUBBLOR's puzzles. You know, there's still quite a few of us to work through. But to go for a more approachable one, I'm going to go with one of the EquaLite puzzles. Don't be disappointed. If it is a very quick one, I've prepared a second so that we can actually feature both of these if it ends up being quick like they all have been so far. Now, gUBBLOR does fantastic job fusing kind of the EquaLite or EquaLite Cages with whatever the variants are. This one is zipper lines, and you can see Sleuth here somehow unzipping the sky to reveal the universe behind it. Clearly, stars, constellations still on my mind. I am going to go back and attempt this puzzle off camera and see if I can actually kind of wrap my mind around it a little bit better than the almost like shoot in the dark that I was doing yesterday. Anyhow, enough of an introduction. Let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets with EquaLite Cages 106, Zippers by gUBBLOR. And we've got the following set of rules. First off, like all the EquaLite Cages, they are 6x6, so normal Sudoku rules, normal 6x6 Sudoku rules. Place the digits 1 to 6 once each in every row, every column, and every 2x3 box. Then we have, of course, the EquaLite Cages. So cages must have an equal number of low digits, such as 1, 2, 3, and high digits, such as 4, 5, and 6. It also needs to have an equal number of even digits, such as 2 and 4, and odd digits, such as 1, 3, and 5. So this would be a valid set of pencil marks, kind of, if it wasn't for the fact that we are playing zipper lines as well. Just before we get on to zipper lines, we've got Kropki dots. A black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 2-to-1 ratio. So if this cell here was a 2, this would have to be 1 or 4, so that essentially one cell is double the other. And then, of course, actually it does say not all dots are shown. So 2 with a 4 here. Clearly, the 4 is 2-to-1 ratio with the 2. No black dot, not a problem. Now, last but not least, this is the whole purpose of today's puzzle, is the zipper line. Digits an equal distance from the center of a zipper line must sum to the digits in that middle of the line. Digits may repeat on lines. So how am I going to do this? I think I'm going to keep this simple and go for this one here. If I put 1 and 3 on here, these two cells are essentially showing us what is the sum that is in here, in the pivot point. So this cell is equal to these two cells. This cell is equal to these two cells being summed up and these two cells being summed up. And you can see I deliberately shied away from an example here because I think it will pretty much solve the puzzle if I give this a go now. That's all we have for today in terms of rules. As always, for you to play along and zip along these EquaLite Cages puzzles, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Right. So one clue is when I put 2 and 5 in here, essentially they sum up to 7. I can't place a 7 on this cell. So I know that 2 is too big in here. I know that if I put a 3, because it's considered a low digit, the lowest high digits I can put would be a 4. That's still too big. So, long story short, there has to be a 1 in here. 1 is an odd digit. I need an even high digit, and it will be 4 or 6. 5 doesn't work. 1 and 6 is again 7, doesn't work. So this is entirely forced with 1, 4, and a 5 in here, which really helps us because that would end up being 2, 3. I know that this is the 2 because, well, where does 5 go? It's none of these cells where I feel like I've broken things already. Hang on, what's going on here? That's because I totally mistreated this. I've treated this like a arrow sum, and it isn't. Excuse me. Dear, oh dear. Let's just move on. Right, 2 cells that are clearly smaller than whatever this is. Very tempted to think that these are 2 low digits. Because if they're not two low digits, it'll be 1 and 4, let's say, which is a 5. And then I can put a 2. Actually, it does work. But I can use the same logic again. No, I can't. 2 and 5 I know wouldn't work. But I don't have to partner up the 2 with a 5 in here. I could easily place a 5, a 3, and then a 4 or 6. So I can make this work whichever way I want. Interesting. Right, let's refresh my memory again. These two cells add up to whatever's in here. We know that they are different because they're in the same box. So this is at least a 3. But at the same time, I need to get to this cell using two different pairs. So that's pair 1, that's pair 2. So this is at least 5 or 6. Which would make these essentially 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I'm just going to draw them in. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And where does 6 go? Well, if this is 6, that would be 5. And then where would I place 5 in the box? So I'm fairly sure this is 6, this is 6, this is 3. These are not 3s anymore. And then this has to be a low odd digit. So from the 1 and 2, this has to be the 1. 1 is no longer available. I need a low digit, which is not 1 or 3. So it's got to be 2, which is partner up with the 5. And this has to be the 4. Now, the 1 pairs up with the 5, the 2 pairs up with the 4, and that gives me my 6. Excellent. Right, I need a high digit in here. It is not 6, it is not 5. It can only be 4 with 1 or 3, and there's a definite 4. And then down here I have 1, 3 with a definite 6. Now, if this is low, this would be high, and 4 and 6 means that would be 5 and 2 is not available. So that can't be high. That has to be low. It is 1 or 2. Can't be a 5, so it's not 2, that's 1. These are not 1s. This is 3, 6. That has to be the high digit to go with the 1. That's 6, that's 3. These are not 1s. That's a 3, 4 pair. Sorry, not 3s. 1, 4 pair. Then I have 2, 3, 5. I mean, this is a 2, 5 pair here. There's a 3 for sure in there. And then a 4 for sure in here. Okay. Right, let's take a look at what we're left with. So we have, looks like 1, 2, and 4. I definitely didn't mean colors. 1, 2, and 4. Now, 1 and 2 wouldn't work because essentially I have 2 low digits and 1 high digit. I need another high digit in here. And if I put 1 and 2 in there, that will only get me to 3. So 4 has to be here. And essentially what I need is an odd high digit to go with the 2. Because essentially I've got 2 even digits. I need an odd high digit. It's only the 5. So that gives me 1, 4, 2. These are also known now. They are, I mean, 6 can't be, hang on, the 6 could be here. Sorry for a second. Right, this is 3, 5, 6. This is not a 5. Clearly, this is the bigger digit because whatever's on here needs to sum up with something to get to whatever this digit is. So that can't be the 3. That can't be a 6. That's 3. Now, a 3 would partner up with another 3 to get to a 6. Which is possible. We'll partner up with a 2 to get to a 5. Seemingly possible, but no. The 2 always requires a 5 in the EquaLite cages, which is not allowed in this case. So that has to be 3. That is a 6. That is a 5. Sudoku says that's 5. That's 2. That's 5. I need a high digit. That is 4 or 6. And I need a 2 somewhere in here. It's not there. That's 2. This is 1, 4, 6. I need a 2 again. That's 2. This is another 1, 4, 6. Have another 1, 4, 6 and a 3. That's the 3. This is the 1, 4, 6. The 1, 4, 6 is getting a bit repetitive now. That can only be the 2. That's the 4. That is a 4. And that is 1 or 6. It's a 1. That gives me 6. Interesting. And not 6. Okay, genuinely sounded interesting. How am I resolving these? Is it this way around? Maybe. Clearly the 6 here helps me. That's 4, that's 1, that's 4, that's 1, that's 6, that's 1, that's 4, done. 3, and if I've not made any mistakes, 5 for the finish. Excellent puzzle once again, gUBBLOR. A 6.5 minute solve. You know what that means. It means that it's time for the second puzzle with EquaLite Cages 107. And this time we're talking about thermometers. So, not going to repeat the rules of Sudoku, not going to repeat the rules of EquaLite, and we just have the thermometers to play with today. So, digits along each thermometer must increase starting from the bulb end. So that's the bulb end. If this is a 2, this would have to be higher, let's say 3 or 4, 4 or 5, 5 or 6. Essentially, you have to be increasing all the way along the thermometer. What I cannot do is something like 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, and then come along down to 3. That is clearly no longer increasing from the bulb end. That's it, pretty straightforward. And another link down below for the second puzzle. Just going to restart and see how I get on. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they are fairly lengthy thermometers. So I'm kind of tempted to 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. Now, EquaLite Cages means that this has to be the low digit, this has to be the high digit because they've got to be separate. Now, I can do 3, 4, or I could do 2, 5. Regardless, that is not a 3, that is not a 4. Because that's not a 4, that is not a 3. Because that is not a 3, that is not a 4. Hopefully that made sense. This is another high digit that goes with a 1 and 2. That is essentially any of them. It's not very useful. We've got 2 high digits and then a third high digit in here, which means all 3 high digits are spoken for. I need 2 low digits in these cells, and it can't be a 1-2 pair. I need to have a 3 with 1 or 2. That is all 3 low digits taken care of now. So all of these now are 4, 5, 6. That gives me a 4, 5, 6 triple. That has to be 1 or 2, because remember the 3 is down here. That is the third low digit, 1, 2, 3. This is a high digit, 4, 5, 6. What is interesting is so far I have actually not put down any digits. But I mean, it's moving along, so I'm going to leave it. Am I going to leave it? No, I'm not. Right. What's really interesting about the EquaLite Cages is that whenever you place a 2, the only other valid digit that is available is 5. Now, work through the implications of this. Well, 2 is none of these cells. 2 would be in here. Then I'd repeat the 5. So that's simply not going to work. That has to be a 1. That can't be a 5. This is a 2-3 pair. That's another 1. And this can't be a 5 to partner up with the 1. Now, one of these 2 cells is a 5, so that is not a 5. That gives me a 4-6 pair. That is the 5, that's the 2, that's the 3. It needs now an odd digit, sorry, an even digit with this odd digit, so that can only be the 4. That is the 6, that's the 4, and that is not a 6, that's the 5, that's the 6, and then the 2-3 pair are not resolved, but what a start. Right, we can move on. So we have the same kind of thermometer here, 4-cell thermometers. If you remember, this was 1, 2, 3, but it's not 3. This was 2, 3, 4, and it's not 3 or 4. So I think this is 4. So this is a 1 and 2, a 5, 6. This has to be a low odd digit, which is 1 or 3. These are 3, 4. This is 1, 3, 4. 2, you can see, is up here with 2, 3, 4. And this is a 5-6 pair. Not sure I can resolve this just yet. In here we've got, well, the 2, 5 have to be in there because 1 and 3, the low digits are gone. So that's the 5, that's the 2. This is a 6. That 2 gave me 3 and 2. These are all known. And notice that the 1 is not in this digit. It can't be halfway up a thermometer. That's the 1. And then just thermometer says 3, 4. This is 5 or 6, it's not a 6. That's 5, that's 6, that's 5, that's 2. Excellent. Right, we know what this digit is. That's a 3, That's not a 3. We may as well just do a bit of quick Sudoku. Where's 2? It's in here, which gives me 4, which will probably resolve everything here. Yeah, 3, 4, 1. And if I've not made any mistakes, 6. I'm really tempted to go with 3 because we're still just over a 10-minute solve. So hang tight whilst I bring up another, really. But I'm sorry about the fact that the rules are not going to be on the screen. Just remember that they are just down below. So, is that visible? Yeah, that is visible. I am going to just take the time. Am I going to trim this? I think you guys can skip it. I'll give you, as usual, a link in the... That's absolutely not the right place. Let's try that again. Come on, I can do this. Can genuinely copy and paste. I mean, it's not a struggle, sleuth. Come on. Right, so puzzle text, done. And puzzle title, and this time we are talking about German whispers. Excellent. Only rule that is new, I think, looking at this puzzle, is the German whisper line. So I am, again, going to skip through Sudoku, EquaLite, Kropki dots, although there's a white Kropki dot, which I didn't explain previously. So essentially, it's just saying that these cells have to be consecutive, and not all dots are shown. So if that was a 2, and this would have to be a 3 or a 1, so that they are indeed consecutive. Imagine that this was a 1, and that is a 3, no white dot, not a problem. And of course, the important part is the German whisper, which in a 6x6 Sudoku means a difference of at least 3. So if this cell here is a 5, then the next one along would have to be 1 or 2, so that it is 3 or more apart. If this is a 1, this would have to be 4 or 6. I mean, obviously you can't repeat the 5. Normally you can just on German whisper lines. It does explicitly say digits may repeat on lines just because they're in the same box. That's all the rules we have for today. Right, link in the description down below. You know what to do. I'm going to restart the clock, see how I get on. Right, white Kropki dot in an EquaLite means this has to be 3 or 4. No other way of doing it. If this is 4 to be 3 or more away, this has to be a 1. If it's 3, this would have to be 6. Interesting. Yeah, not sure where to go next, actually. 1 second. Am I really gonna... do I need to color this? I don't think I do. So the way to sort of think about these colors or German whisper lines, of course, is that they oscillate between low and high digits. So if this is 4, as in orange is high, this would have to be high, so it would be 5 or 6, because that would be 1, and it can't have 4 in the same column. If this is 3, this would be low, so this would be 1 or 2, and this would be 6. Not very useful at all, is it? Right, yeah, it is useful. I need 1 of each, which means that the third purple is inside here, joined with a second orange, so this has to be orange. This has to be the purple, because it oscillates between polarity. I don't know why I gave air quotes around that, but just didn't feel appropriate to call it polarity when essentially we're oscillating around 3.5. Right, so this 3, 4 is always connected to 1, 6. Yes, because essentially in a 6x6 Sudoku, the most restrictive German whisper lines are the 3, 4. So the way to think about this is, where is my purple 3, 4? No. Where's my orange 3, 4? And it can't be this cell, obviously, because it would be repeating. Can't be this cell because it would require another purple 1, 6, so it has to be in here. Right. And then the purple 3, 4, well, I can technically place it here and then have a 1, 6 orange, or I can place it in there and then have a 1, 6 orange. I don't think I can. I'll show you. If this is 3, 4, this is 1, 6, then I end up with a 2-5 pair, and we know about 2-5 pairs in EquaLite cages. They have to go together. So long story short, that is the 3-4, that is the 1-6. That means this is not 1 or 6. These are both 2-5s. Fantastic. Means this is not a 2-5 cage. Could be basically anything else. This is a fascinating puzzle. Right, we've got 2 purples in row 4, meaning these have to be orange. This would be purple, this would be orange. This oscillates, this has to be purple. This would be purple, and then we have 1 of each on here. The only way, no, for a second I was going to say something stupid. That the only way that you can do this is 2 and 4. Of course not. You can do 3, 6. But with the pressure that we have on here, I'm not entirely sure that is correct. So if I put 3, 6 in here, that would be 1, that would be 4, and then this would be 3, and it doesn't work. Hopefully that's clear. Right, so backpedal. This has to be 1 of each in terms of polarity. If you think around all the black Kropki dots in a 1x6, the only ones that are low and high are 2, 4, and 3, 6. Now, 3, 6 places a lot of pressure on here. Essentially, that becomes 1, that becomes 4, that becomes 3, and 1 and 3 are the same polarity. So this has to be 2, 4, which would give me 3, 4, 1, and then we know that the polarity of orange is low. So this would be the 2, the 5, the 6, the 3, the 4. This is a high digit, that's 5. That means this is a 2. This needs to be a high digit that is not 5 and is 3 away. It's not 4 or 5, it can only be 6. That gives me a 1-6 pair up here. We'll figure out what that does in a second. That is now a 6, and these are 2 low digits, 1 and 3. Fantastic. 2, that's 4, that's 2. This 1-6 means, I mean, again, it's not 2, 5. So what does that mean? If it's 1, it doesn't work because 4 and 6 are not available. So that's 6, that's 1. I meant to say a 1-4 pair. Regardless, that can't be the 1 because this is not 4 or 6. So that is the 4, that is the 1. That's a high digit. May as well keep up with the colors. This needs to be a low digit. It is not 1. Can't be 2 because it would be both even. That is a 3. To be 3 or more away, 4 is very restrictive. That is always a 1. That can basically be anything. 4, 5, 6. Right, so 6 is on here. In fact, let's think about this. 2 is on here with a 6. That's a 5. So this is 2-6 pair. That is not a 5. Both 4 and 6 work because 1 is very permissive. That's a 2. This is 1-5. I really want to color these, but so I've only colored EquaLite Cages and German whisper lines. That's correct, isn't it? Yeah, I'm good with that. You know, consistency is important. 5, no. 2, no. How about just Sudoku to the rescue? That is not a 6. That's the 6. That's the 3. That gives me 4, 2, 6, and a 3, which is 1, 3, 2, 5. Not resolved, but it will be shortly. That's 6, that's 1, that's 5, that's 1. Before I finish. And for the finish, 5 and 4. They're a lovely series, gUBBLOR. It's just like popcorn almost. Or Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop kind of advert. Hope that you guys are enjoying these puzzles. It's a great way to wrap up, at least for me, a weekend of tough puzzles. So hope that you enjoyed them, and see you back for the next video. Bye-bye for now.